All four of the shows we are talking about, you can watch the entire series of now.
That was done on purpose, obviously.
Yeah.
That was with a lot of forethought and planning we managed that. We're halfway through. We've got Boxmaster coming up at the end. So let's carry on with another streaming show, Good Omens, from Terry Gilliam. No, it's not. What am I talking about? What am I talking about?
Neil Gaiman.
I know it was one of the Gilliam Gaiman people. Yeah, Neil Gaiman. This is the book of the same name, sort of made into a 6-parter for Amazon, fronted by David Tennant and Michael Sheen. This isn't in my wheelhouse, really. I mean, some people can get on board with this sort of fantastical world of angels and demons and the apocalyptic things, and I'm very much here for sort of your down-to-earth or gritty drama. So this was a struggle for me, and I don't feel I can add much to the conversation. So get ready for the Paul and Matt show. It's not really for me. So, Paul, how much have you seen? How big of a fan were you of the original material? Had you read it? And how does this stack up for you?
So I was not familiar with the book, but I know it is much loved, the 1990 book by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. I think your response there is kind of a useful bellwether, because I'd say this is very much divided critics, this adaptation, and I've seen some people raving about it, some people absolutely hated it, and what I've kind of concluded is that it's good if you like that sort of thing. You have to kind of buy into it, and if you know, obviously both these writers, Pratchett and Gaiman, both well loved, huge global fan bases, and people who do buy into it, I think there's a lot to love here. When I first started watching it, there are early scenes that are kind of set in this Garden of Eden, and it looks very, you know, shifting desert sands, and it looks quite flaming swords and quite big and CGI, and I thought, oh, maybe this is sort of moving seamlessly into the Game of Thrones kind of slot. But then, of course, it quickly becomes much more kind of quirky and British in its humour, which is you know, I kind of enjoy that. So on one hand, it's got this epic scale. It kind of, you know, goes from Eden to Noah's Ark to the crucifixion and Nazi Germany and all these, but it kind of does that without losing this sort of peculiar English sense of whimsy. And you know, a lot of it is much more kind of Monty Python than it is Game of Thrones. I was going to say
whimsical as well is the word I would use to describe it. I mean, for me, I love this. I was a massive Terry Pratchett fan growing up. I love Neil Gaiman's sort of way that he sort of links in sort of modern Britain and this sort of fantastical element, poking fun at sort of organised religion and all these Bible stories. You say early on you get the Noah's Ark thing, and you know, the David Tennant character Crowley pointing out the sort of hypocrisy in that. And I love that sort of extended opening sequence where you see the Michael Sheen and David Tennant characters sort of throughout time helping each other out and things like that. There's that brilliant scene, as you said, with the Nazis during World War II, where it's Mark Gatiss and Steve Pemberton, isn't it, playing these two Nazis?
Yeah, all League of Gentlemen are in it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah, Reese was playing William Shakespeare, wasn't he, in that earlier sequence? Yeah. But yeah, for me, I absolutely love this. It's not perfect by any means, but it has got this it is a very sort of British show at its heart. There's a lot of nice little gags. I thought Gaiman did a good job of updating it, because obviously it was written in 1990, so there's a lot of little updates about sort of technology and things like that. There's a lot of supporting performances to enjoy in it as well. And it just left me smiling at the end. Very, very warm-hearted. As I said with Killing Eve, you need TV like this to counterbalance the sort of the more stark reality things like this. I think for me, it reminded me a lot of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as well, which is another thing that I love. I think
very good Adams, isn't it?
Yeah, mainly because of the sort of reliance on narration as well that both have in this. You had Frances McDormand playing the voice of God, which I think wound a lot of people up maybe the wrong way as well. You know, how could a woman be voicing God? Things like that. I've seen right-wing views on this that
really?
I don't think it's needed really, because it is just a bit of fun really. And I felt that Tennant and Sheen sort of counterbalanced each other quite well. I really like John Hamm as Angel Gabriel. I don't know, did you watch it to the end, Paul?
No, so I've seen the first half of it.
Yeah. Are you going to go on to watch the rest of it?
Yeah, I will. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Tennant's it's kind of an outrageous performance. He plays this kind of loose lounge lizard rock star approach, doesn't he? It's like it very much reminded me of a young Bill Nye, actually, the way he
Yeah.
plays it. Interesting character because obviously he's supposed to, help bring about the end of days, but he's kind of gone native and grown rather comfortable in his. Yeah, teams up with this angel, and they're sort of the ultimate frenemies, aren't they? They kind of become BFFs and so they're teaming up to kind of stop the apocalypse coming about. Just got this demon Crowley just kind of really quite likes his life and thinks that the end of days might cramp his style. So it's quite funny in that way.
Armageddon is days away, and we've lost the Antichrist.
We have to work together.
We have nothing whatsoever in common. I don't even like you.
You do.
If we don't find it, it'll be the war to end everything.
The Earth isn't going to just end itself.
The four horsemen of the apocalypse are being summoned. War, pollution, famine, death.
Who exactly summons them?
Not my department.
We're doomed. Welcome to the end time.
It's interesting because Douglas Adams, I think, and Python, neither of them dated particularly well. Remember when they made the Hitchhiker's film about 15 years ago? It did feel like it was out of its time. And even this has got sort of jokes about Betamax and things, which makes you think it maybe belongs to a kind of undergrad humour from another time. But then in other ways, I think it's it's very smart and very witty and very fast. And if you will buy into this kind of thing, then you'll love it. I mean, I could not imagine my wife sitting through more than 10 minutes of this. But it's not for everyone. But yeah, if you buy into that Pratchett kind of world, then it seems like a very slick production.
And I think it's the best Pratchett adaptation that they've done on TV. I think because the Sky did a few, didn't they? A few of the Discworld ones, which were sort of successful to varying degrees. I think because you've got the Amazon money behind it as well. It's coming on to BBC Two, I believe, later in the year as well, for people who want to watch it sort of weekly. But I think if you want to watch it, I think you will have already found it on Amazon or somewhere else on the internet. This is like a sense of humour and a world that I can sort of buy into.